Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is the painful polarity of being true to yourself and needing the approval of others. And this one, I think that every single one of us throughout different periods of our life, we have to learn how to navigate this polarity. So thinking about, the opposite ends of the spectrum, that need to be true to thyself, and also that need of seeking approval and having the approval and validation of others. And, I've been reading this book, Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Myss. And I've only got, through the first part of it, but you guys who've been following along know that I had a bit of a aha, kind of terrifying, painful moment last week in terms of going through some of the archetypes that I spoke about in a couple of Facebook Lives ago, just going through those 4. But anyway, I'm reading the book and just getting so many amazing insights that I just wanted to share with you guys. And in the book, she quotes a Harvard professor by the name of Howard Thurman. And he actually says that there are 2 questions that we have to ask ourselves. The first one is, where am I going? And the second question is, who will go with me? And if you get these questions in the wrong order, you're going to be in trouble. And I think that that's really fitting with talking into this polarity between being true to ourselves and needing the approval of others. Because if you just think about it, if we answer the question, where am I going? And then followed by who will go with me, we are coming from a place of authenticity. We are being true to thyself, but if we have it around the other way, which most of us have had the experience, talking into sort of that whole, necessity to be part of the community or the tribe, and we look to those outside sources to help us navigate about which direction is right for us. And what I wanted to say about that really is that, most of us get caught up in that loop of that opposite end of the polarity where it's, we're actually, who will go with me, and then deciding, where am I actually going to go? Like, using who will actually approve of me to determine the course and the path of our lives, instead of getting clear and concise about, hey, what's true to me? What am I called to do? And what is the right path forward for me? The secondary question is therefore followed up with who will go with me. And when we lead with a question of where am I going, what's true to who I am, then ultimately we have an amazing filter in terms of, being able to let those who aren't willing to allow us to be true to ourselves to the fullest degree, we can more easily let their approval and, their lack of approval and their judgment and criticism, we can kind of leave that behind, knowing that we are moving forward from a place of power, from the truth of who we are, as opposed to trying to mold ourselves to be who we think we need to be in order to gain that approval at the expense of our truth. And also that I wanted to share that, when you do not seek and need that external approval, when you've kind of gotten past that, that's when you're at your most powerful. And like I said, we all have to get to this point. We're growing up, we're looking to those outside of ourselves to help guide us. And at some point, we need to, grow ourselves enough and gain enough, confidence and courage to sort of venture out on our own and discover the truth of who we are, even if it goes against those people that we have looked up to. And like I said, that's going to be our most powerful state, when we no longer require, that external approval from others. And also, when we can get to that place of empowerment where we are valuing our truth and our authenticity above all else before we look to, gain some people to go along that journey with us, ultimately when we're at that place of empowerment, nobody can disempower us emotionally or psychologically. We get to this place where we have conviction, where we have certainty, and we go on that path to gain more conviction, more certainty, more alignment with our truth. And ultimately, you know, when we talk into this polarity between being true to thyself and needing the approval of others, you know, I really do believe that we can only stay amongst that polarity and go that back and forth, and for only a short period of time. You know, we can't withstand that for the entirety of our life, and ultimately, you know, we need to be able to gain that certainty and that truth and that self-awareness to know what to align with. Because at some point in our lives, you know, if we stay in that polarity, that back and forth between, you know, being true to ourselves and needing the approval of others, you know, at some point we're going to realize that we are doing the harm to ourselves by trying to mold ourselves to this version of somebody else who we think we need to be in order to gain that approval. And it is a journey that, you know, we all need to navigate in our own unique ways. But as soon as we can, you know, go on that journey of self-discovery and alignment with what we find to be true to who we are, instead of, you know, seeking that constant approval and validation from our external sources, then ultimately we're going to gain the certainty, the confidence, the courage to keep going on that path and make deeper discoveries as to who we are and align with that next layer of our truth, so that we can ultimately, you know, reach a new level of our limitless potential. So guys, as I'm talking into this, I hope that it is really resonating with you guys in terms of looking at our lives and seeing where in that polarity we're currently situated. Are we, you know, right in and amongst that polarity and that back and forth between how do I be true to myself and how do I also gain the approval that I'm trying to seek from others? And ultimately, I hope that you're on that path of realization that the more we stay stuck in that polarity and that back and forth, the more harm we are doing to ourselves. Nobody else is doing it to us. We are doing it to ourselves. And the sooner we can go on that journey of just, you know, trying to up level that belief and trust within ourselves, and believe that the right path forward is always going to be tapping into our internal wisdom and, you know, going with what feels right, making those first little baby steps in the direction of our authenticity and aligning with that. That is our pathway to empowerment, where we get to a place where nobody can control us emotionally or psychologically. You know, we get to a place of empowerment where, okay, it's not great when people, you know, aren't in alignment with our truth, and maybe we have to let some people along that journey go. And it can be painful no matter where you are, but ultimately we come with this place of certainty and strength inside ourselves that there's just no going back. You know, when you go on that path, and even if you're met with conflict and, you know, criticism and judgment, and even from the people closest to you, that level of certainty that you have within yourself, you just see it for what it is. And it can be, you know, a sad and a transitioning moment where we need to kind of a grieving process, need to leave those people or those circumstances behind along our journey. But ultimately we come from a place of strength and certainty within ourselves, that we have that conviction that doesn't allow others and the criticisms of others to throw us off our path. So I'm really hoping that this is resonating with each and every one of you guys today. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience of this polarity between being true to yourself and seeking the approval of others. And I think we're always going to have that dynamic at play, and we just get stronger and more centered and certain about who we are and what the right path forward for us is. And when we can do that, and we can lead with that question about where am I going, and answer that before we say who is coming with me, that's where we start to generate an amazing tribe of people who are in such alignment with the truth of who we are that we get bigger and bigger and generate, you know, an amazing journey and path forward where we support and encourage the best parts of ourselves and challenge each other to stay true to that path. And I'm really hoping that this is resonating. And if it is, I would love each and every one of you guys to come and join us over at the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Circle Facebook community where that's what path we're all on. We are supporting and encouraging and challenging each other to be in alignment with the truth of who we are and go on that fresh path forward, the path of empowerment, and not, limit ourselves and play small by trying to seek the approval of those around us. So I'd love for each and every one of you guys to join. So click on the link, join us. We'd love to have you a part of that amazing community that's growing each and every day. And I would love to check in with you guys and see how you guys are going. So I have got Stephen and Eric and Selma and Rian and Todd and Jeremy and Jill and Tayeb and Filippo and Savula and Anahan and Gabrielle's back and Andrew and Elbert and Sammy and Tom is from Portland, Oregon. Hello to you, Todd. Awesome to have you. And Amit and Eduardo and Diallo and Annie and Gabriella and Jed. And Jason's here, and Vince, and Colleen, and Peter, and I'm loving that this is resonating with you, Todd, and Swedin, and Kellyanne, and Joey, and Aaron. Namaste to you, and hello to you, Peter. Awesome to see you, and Carolina, love it, love it, love it, love it, and Jose or Jose, I'm not sure, but hello to you, and Tayeb, thank you for your kind words there, and Paul and Ciara and Tumis and Jed, I'm loving that that's resonating, and Ethan and Hassani and Linda's here. Oh, guys, I love having each and every one of you here. You rock my world, as you know. And Fan, I love your talks, Vanessa. We all need to hear this, even if we know it deep down. Absolutely. Sometimes we just need to be reminded of what really matters in life, because we can get so caught up in our everyday human surface level existence, which is stuck in that polarity of what's true to me and what gains the approval of others. And that just burns us out and does damage and harm to ourselves. And the sooner we can build higher levels of awareness and consciousness around where we fall into that polarity, we can take ourselves back out with compassion and love, knowing that that's part of the human experience, but we are the kind of people who want to grow and empower ourselves to the next level of our potential. So we've got to have the consciousness around when we fall back into those old past patterns. And definitely, Fan, I'm loving that you're loving these talks, and I so love seeing you pop in and join me pretty much every day. So I'm so thankful for all of you guys who keep joining me every day. Means the world to me. So I've got Sergio here, and Mahinda Pal, and Nikki, and Selma, you're so welcome, and Mohammed, and Jacob. I think we can't be total in Zen. There will always be something in my thoughts, behavior, and language who influences my Zen, and that is okay, just a new energy shift. Absolutely, Jacob. Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of, having that self-compassion, knowing that we're not going to be in this constant state of Zen and empowerment like 24/7. We have to grow past. We're going to have major obstacles. The more you're into your growth, the more you're going to start really being aware of all the obstacles that come into our existence each and every day. And the more you're going to be grateful to have them, because you're the kind of person who learns and grows in the face of challenge. And that is how we reach a new level of our potential. So I love it, and I completely agree with you there, Jacob. No constant states of Zen, at least not in my experience. Maybe I'm not sure, but I invite the challenge, even if it's really painful in the moment. But I love that. And Mahinda Pal, have a marvelous and blessed day and great week ahead. Same to you. And Gary's here, and Jimmy, and Sheriff. This lady, hello. Awesome to have you, Sheriff. I love having each and every one of you guys here, and I'm hoping that today's message has resonated with you. I've got Brian who just joined, and Eric. Thanks, Vanessa, for your words. They always make me feel better. Oh, I'm so grateful to hear that, Eric, and I love having you here. You know that. And Lewis has just joined me. So, guys, that is my message. Oh, Hassani, great to see you, V. Going back to catch the beginning of this one. Awesome. And Lucy's just joined. I love it. All my faves are here. And Jacob, but have to train the awareness of silence. Yeah, sometimes we just need to create silence in our lives in order to gain the clarity and the self-awareness. And it is so true for me, definitely, Jacob, that, when we can, silence the mind. That's why I'm such a big believer in having some form of meditative practice in your life, particularly if you're extroverted like me and you can get really caught up in what's going on around you and kind of get energized by being disattached at times from your own perspective. Then you kind of need a practice that silences and that gets you tapping into that internal wisdom. Absolutely, Jacob. I totally agree. And hello to you, beautiful Lucy. So awesome to see you. Guys, that is my message for you guys today. So everybody who just joined me late, Gary, that's you included. I hope that you catch the recording and get a ton of value from today's message. I hope that it wakes you up to this polarity that each and every one of us slips into time and time again, that we need to build higher levels of consciousness if we want to live a truly empowered life. And refer back to those two questions that Harvard professor, what was his name? Howard Thurman stated that, there are two questions that each of us have to ask ourselves. Number one, where am I going? And number two, who will go with me? And make sure that you have them in that order. Otherwise, you fall into the trap of a life that you felt was expected of you, rather than a truly fulfilling life lived from the truth of who you are and on absolute purpose, on sharing your gifts, on discovering your genius and unleashing your greatness. And on that note, you guys know that is my mission in life, to help each and every one of you out there to discover your genius and unleash your greatness. So if you haven't already, I would love to connect with you as an individual. So I open up these power sessions. I'd love for you to book in one. They're all free. I just want to connect with you. I want to see what you're currently challenged with, and I want to help you discover your genius and get out of your own way and start unleashing your greatness and energizing your life. So if that's of interest to you, I've got the link above. Click on that link and choose a time that suits you. I'd love to meet you. And I've got Byron's just joined as well. Catch the recording, get a ton of value. I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. Like I always say, you light up my world, you rock my world. I appreciate each and every one of you. I get so lit up when you guys get to engage in this environment. And like I said earlier, if you haven't already, you have got to come on over and join the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community, where you get to connect with extraordinary like minds who are there to grow and contribute, which is the ultimate pathway to fulfillment, and they want to do it with you. So come on over and join us. We want to see you and go deeper with you. And I am sending you my love, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a brilliant day or night wherever you are in the world.